everyone. I am Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. We have been running this interview series for, I think we're approaching 7 years. Can you believe it? 7 years. We have so many amazing followers. I am so glad that you are here with us and listening. We have been interviewing industry experts from all over the world for all these years, and they share with you their tips, their inspiring thoughts, books they love, causes they care about, and so much more. And it has been an exciting and a fun journey. And the guest I have today, I am just beside myself beaming and joyful that I have the honor of having her on my show. Suzy Prudden is a legend. She is a serial entrepreneur, and the true definition of that word. She first started her company in 1965 and became a household name in the fitness industry, and was a pioneer in that mind-body, connection movement, which I just love, and is now the publisher of books. You know, you have seen her on, this is the big one, Oprah, and not just Oprah, Good Morning America, the Today Show. I mean, this gal gets around in all the classiest places, right? So Suzy, welcome, and thank you so much for being on our show today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here as well. I mean, every interview is special.
Mm-hmm.
It is special, and I really hold it that way.
Well, I think this is going to be tons of fun, and we're going to learn so many wonderful things. So, my necklace and your eyeglasses, by the way, we did not coordinate that, ladies and
We
gentlemen,
match.
and that just worked out really well.
Yeah, and I'm wearing this fur. I had something else earlier, but it's nice and warm outside. It's very cold in my apartment. So I'm wearing this wonderful fur thing,
Lovely.
which I love. So
Lovely.
I'm very cozy, and actually, color-wise, it pretty much matches your colors as
I
well.
know we're all
We're
coordinated
in sync.
today. We're all in sync. So tell us a little bit about your journey. So you started in 1965. You've gone through the whole fitness industry, and then you've landed on books. So give us a
How
little
did I
bit
do
of that.
that?
Give us a little bit of the journey and the map there here of
Well,
how did we get here from there?
it's a long journey. I mean, I'm 80 now, and I started my first company in 1965. It was a fitness company. I am the daughter of Bonnie Prudden, who's the nation's foremost fitness authority. She started the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports, and when I was in my early 20s, I decided I didn't want to work for anybody. I had my experiences in that field of working for somebody else, and so I started my own company teaching fitness. And in 1965, it was not an industry,
Mm.
and I was very good at what I did. And 68, somebody saw my ads for women's exercise and said, "Do you teach toddlers?" And my son was a toddler at the time, and I said, "No, but I teach my son." And she said, "Would you?" And I said, "Yes." That is my operative word. Say yes and figure it out. So
Mhm.
she came to my house with 5 friends, and I started in my living room with 6 toddlers. And then a lot of other people wanted to join us, so we moved to Broadway. I lived in Manhattan at the time, and I opened a studio 1 hour, 2 hours a week, and it grew and it grew. And in the beginning, people thought I was nuts teaching toddlers, but by my third year teaching, nursery schools in New York City were calling me saying, "What are you doing?" And I would explain, and they say, "No, what are you doing?" And it turned out that because kids who came through my school, starting at the age of 15 months, were more educable. And so all of a sudden, the nursery schools, if you wanted to get into a good nursery school in New York City, my name needed to be on the application. So my school grew. I opened up an East Side one, and I opened up a school in a summer camp in East Hampton. And in 1970, and this is important, in 1971, I sold my first book at a cocktail party in East Hampton, Long Island. It
Really
came
cool.
out in 72. And from there, I have a series of books that came out every couple of years. I have a New York Times bestseller. I have 11 books from 72 to 92. And I had no intention of being a publisher. Didn't even crossed my mind. I was the widget. I was the performer. I sold my business in 83. I moved to California. I was very instrumental in the body mind technology. I'm a pioneer in that industry. I became very, very good friends with Louise Hay. And in 1987, here in Los Angeles, she and I were exercising in my living room. And she heard, well, we were doing hip wags. It's easy exercise. And she goes, ow. And I said, what's going on? She said, I hurt my hip. I said, well, Louise, you're the expert. What does that mean? And she said, and she thought about it and she figured it out. I don't remember what she told me, but I had an idea. This is also important for people who are listening or watching. I said to her at that time, Louise, why don't we do a video together? I'll do the exercises, you do the affirmations. She said, let me take it to the board. Next week, she came back, we're exercising. She said, yes, we want to do it. And I want to show this to you because we did it. We did the video. This is the video.
Mm-hmm.
And we did the book. This is what got me on the Oprah show. We did the book and 2 audios. And it's a classic. It's an absolute classic. I'm doing the exercises with a team behind me, and she's doing the affirmations. So when you exercise to this video, you're laying down the affirmations so that when you move at other times, your body is already sending messages to your brain, the affirmations, a powerful process. And I mean, life happens and stuff happens. And I, after 8 months after, this is interesting. 8 months after the Oprah show, I ended up homeless. That's a whole other story.
Wow.
And through that time, I created all kinds of workshops and seminars. I just kept going. And I turned my life around. And I came back to LA and I created a body mind movement. I created workshops all over actually all over the world, and teaching people how to access the power of their mind to change their lives. And then I became a hypnotherapist. I had a weight loss center in Beverly Hills where we used hypnosis to help people lose weight. Then the 2008 came. I lost that company, thank God, because it was very expensive to run. And so I think 2 weeks after I closed my practice in Beverly Hills, I opened up a practice with hypnosis and coaching for entrepreneurs. And then in 2014, my sister and I had a brilliant idea of creating itty bitty books, which is a whole big story. And so in 2015, I became a publisher. And now I publish books, itty bitty publishing, which publishes small books that make a big difference. I have Legacy Press, which is a book that publishes memoirs and stories. I have Little Dog Press, which publishes children's books. And now I have Inspiration Press, which publishes inspirational sayings, quotes, and poetry. And I seriously, when I started this journey, I had no interest in becoming a publisher because I was the author. I was the TV person. I was the widget. I was the, look at me, look at me. And now what I do is I say, look at them, look at them. And it's very exciting because I have 50 plus years of experience that I can now give to my authors.
I love that. I love that. So when someone comes to you with a book idea, whether it's appropriate for the itty bitty series, or if it's a children's book, or whatever direction they're trying to go with their story, what's their experience? What's their journey with you? So what's it like to work with you? What's the process?
Oh, that's a wonderful question, because what I focus on is, what's the book going to do for you, the author? Because today's marketing, it breaks my heart to see all these, millions of books that are published every year, something like 40 million. And maybe 5% or maybe 2.5% do anything. So my whole focus and what I want my authors to experience with me is, how can we get your book out there, and how can we use your book as a marketing tool. And I
Mhm.
have an author, Anthony Camacho, who wrote a book on sales. He, using his itty bitty book, which is 30 pages, 15 chapters, 2 pages each. He used his book to grow his business from $100,000 to $750,000 a year, using that book as a marketing tool.
I
I have
love
another author who created a um, coaching program and a certification program where she now has certification programs 4 times a year and will make about $100,000 in a weekend
Mhm.
using her book as the marketing tool. So when somebody comes to me, I really want to know what they want their book to do for them.
Mm.
And with all the ideas they bring me, what's the low-hanging fruit?
Mhm.
What's going to make a difference for your reader? And what's going to make a difference for you, the author? And that's what we focus on.
I love that. I love that. So before I know that you might have some tips for people who are thinking they have a book in their head or a book in their soul or something tapping at their shoulder that says, you need to write that book someday. Or even if they just want to leave a legacy for their family or
That's why I
an
call it legacy press.
yeah. Yeah. So, what's some ideas or tips you could give them as they're taking this journey? Besides, get yourself a good publisher who knows what they're doing and hire Suzy.
Yeah.
That's the obvious tip of the day.
Well, I have a a webinar which really talks about exactly what you do. It's called Write
Mhm.
Your Book in a Day. And as a tip, you have to create time. If
Yeah.
you don't create time, nothing's going to happen.
Hmm.
And stop asking the question, why me? Why not you? Why
Hmm.
not you? I mean, everybody has a voice,
Yeah.
and people hear things differently, even if it's the same, similar content.
Hmm.
They hear it differently from different people. So I've done workshops, and I will hear something from one person that I've heard from another. This other didn't resonate with me, same topic, but this person did. I'll sign up with the person that resonates with me. It's the same thing with your book. I mean, in the fitness industry, okay, so I've written 11 books in the fitness industry, fitness and body mind. When I would write a book that year, there would be 18 other fitness books, all
Hmm.
published. Now, somebody's not going to buy all 18, but
Hmm.
something that you say will resonate and they go, I want her or his book or
Hmm.
his project or his workshop.
Hmm.
And so whenever you ask the question, why me? Why not you? You have a voice, you have a passion, you have a mission, you want to be heard. So start speaking,
Hmm.
start writing. And I guess the biggest tip is as you write chapter by chapter, don't edit,
Hmm.
just write. Because if you keep editing that first chapter, you'll never write chapter 2.
That's great advice. So I heard a lot of great things. I heard schedule time, just right, because why not you? Go to Susie's workshop and get some of those pieces of information that'll help you begin your journey. I'm really thinking getting someone like Susie in your corner. If not Susie, I'd vote for her to work with and help you through this journey. Would be fantastic. Now, we always love talking about causes on this show, but before we move on to that, is there anything else about yourself or the business that we haven't covered that you want to talk about? I know we're going to touch base more on your books a little later, but anything else other than that?
You know, I've got so much I don't even know where to begin. I really don't know where to begin because I mean I've been in one business or another since the
Yeah.
60s, and I've had phenomenal successes and phenomenal failures.
Hmm.
I prefer success,
Yes.
um, but I guess another tip: if you've got an idea, go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, go for it. I say yes and figure it out. Okay, so I sold my first book at a cocktail party in East Hampton, Long Island.
Mhm.
And then when William Morrow told me they wanted the book, I then called the William Morris agency in New York and said, "Hi, this is Suzy Prudden. I just sold a book to William Morrow. I need an agent." So I got an agent to negotiate the contract. And if you're going to work with a big house, you need an agent. Even if
Mhm.
you've sold the book to them already, you need an agent to negotiate the contract. That's another tip.
Oh, that's a good
If
one.
you're going to self-publish, I self-published um, in 2006. My sister and I self-published a book, and it was we didn't know what we were doing. And so it wasn't until 2014 that we changed the cover, changed the format. We created the itty bitty book. And from looking at my itty bitty book, I realized that I had $1 million business. And
Mm.
so we started offering other people the opportunity to write itty bitty books. What about me? I don't know. I love to travel. I'm
Uh,
looking for something on my on my internet to give you a calendar link. So if anybody wants to talk to me either about writing an itty bitty book or what do I do next or anything, I'm putting my calendar link in the chat so that you can contact me if you want to. Oh, now I have to find who
no,
you are again.
and you know what though? We will make sure all of that is in the article. So if you're watching
Oh,
this
so I won't
interview,
even bother them.
we'll make sure that it's in the article as well as in the description notes of the different interviews, all the places you'll be finding this. You'll find it on Twitch and on Vimeo and on YouTube and on my website, as well as on LinkedIn Live right now, which is where we are. So don't worry, we will make sure you can get to Suzy and use her services.
Great.
So this is all, your life has been an interesting and fascinating roller coaster. And
Oh, that, yes.
yeah.
Definitely a roller coaster. Definitely. And another thing is no matter how successful you are, there are going to be dips.
Yeah.
There are going to be times when you go, what is going on? I don't like this at all. And then you just have to hang on, hang on to the railing, so to speak, and the roller coaster,
Hmm.
and you will come out of it.
Hmm. That is for sure. Now, one of the big reasons that I started this interview series was to feature amazing people, but also to have a chance to take a moment and share awareness about causes that we care about. There's so many beautiful causes out there, and every time I have a new guest on, I pretty much learn about something brand new I didn't even know was there to help people. And I know you have a couple of causes close to your heart. You want to tell us a little bit about them?
Well, the first one, actually, when I shared it to you as the second one, you already have the same book that I have.
I do. I've never talked about it on the show though, because I just ran across it myself. So please go ahead.
So this is, I did a conference recently with JVX, and Rich German is one of the people who runs JVX, and he's never done this before, but he shared this book, which is exquisite about the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And he shared his cause, which I said, I want that to be my cause. And it's called Project O, and it's all about saving the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
saving because our ocean is, if we don't save it, we will lose the earth. I mean, we
Yeah.
won't lose the earth, or we will in terms of, people will disappear, the earth will come back. But we have an opportunity to save the ocean so that we don't become extinct like too many animals.
Yeah.
Animals are dying. So it's an amazing project. Restore, protect, and sustain the ocean and the sacred life within it. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Project O, and I can give you the website. It's www.project-o.org. And I mean, I was so moved, and all of us were so moved in that event. There were, I think, 100 of us. We raised over $9,000,
That's
and
amazing.
I told Rich that I was going to give a percentage of what I bring in to his project. And the other one, like I don't know the name of it because I wasn't expecting this, but I'll find it so you can put it in everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gentleman that I've known for years, who he donates to this project. And
Mm-hmm.
so I do too now. It's a project that saves dogs from animal shelters. Then they train those dogs to be service animals for returning veterans with
Beautiful.
PTSD and various things where these animals prevent suicide.
Yeah.
And they're highly, highly trained. I asked him, how much does it cost to train a service animal?
A lot.
Over $100,000 for one animal.
Mm-hmm.
And so what Rennie said was we saved two lives. We saved the life of the dog, and we saved the life of the serviceman.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that really touches my heart.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. I love that. Yeah, see, I just think, when we take time to grow business and grow our knowledge and share our expertise, and, interviews like this are fabulous because they are uplifting and elevating you and getting awareness out on your business and me. But why not make it more than just about us? Why also
Absolutely.
let's include some amazing causes, because someone listening or who shares this might know someone who needs one
Yeah.
of these services or things, or knows a service person who could really use a dog. And then when they read the article, they can reach out and help maybe make that connection and change that life. So it's a wonderful thing. Now, the next part of the show is a super favorite of mine, because I am a crazy, nutty bookworm. I love books so much. I still like to read them in my hand. I read them online. I read all the ways there is to read. My daughter reads to me. I love audiobooks. I am a book fanatic, and I'm
Oh
creating
my.
the ultimate book list. So every guest that comes on, I ask them to share the books that they love with us, and we're creating an ultimate book list to share with our listeners and our watchers. As we build this. So, is there a book that helped inspire your personal life or grow your business that you did
Well,
it right, that you could share?
yes, yes. You asked me this, and I pulled out this book, and this book I bought in 1981. It's called Psychic Energy,
Ooh, I like that.
and it changed my life, because when I bought this book, I knew nothing about mind power. I knew nothing about meditation. I knew that what had happened was I left my husband, and I discovered a whole new world of spirituality.
Mm.
And I have a friend who actually is a tea leaf reader. That's how I met her. And I knew nothing. And she said, get this book. And this is when I was in the process of changing my life.
Yeah.
And I learned to meditate, and I learned to bring positive energy in. I learned to create my life the way I wanted it. This
Mhm.
was, I mean, it's called Psychic Energy. It's by Joseph Weed, Weed. And it literally changed my life. It's an easy read. And I mean, I've had this book since 1981.
I know, we'll have to Amazon it and see if it's even still out
I
there.
wonder if it's even there. It's got to be. It's a
I'll
good
have
book.
to look.
Otherwise, I'd go to eBay and see who has it. And the other one is Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting by Lynn Grabhorn. And this too is all about mind power and
Mhm.
your thoughts making a difference in your life. And I really truly believe that. And I'll give you an example. Last week, just last week, I was looking at my desk, which is a horror right now. And I shouldn't affirm that. My desk is getting better and better every day in every way. So, and I said to self, and I said to God, I need a personal assistant,
Yeah.
someone who will actually come into my house. I mean, I've got
Mhm.
assistants who live in Ohio, who live in San Francisco, you
Mhm.
know, all online. I don't have someone who's going to come into my house.
Mhm.
Yesterday, I was visiting a friend who I hadn't seen in 20 years. And she said her son is looking for a job. And he used to be the personal assistant to some person in the movie industry. And I thought, okay, I asked for a personal assistant. Okay. And so I said, well, I'm looking for a personal assistant. Why don't you have him call me? So that's how fast it is when
Yeah.
you honor it.
Yeah.
because my first thought was, no, I don't really need it. And I thought, Suzy, you asked for it.
Yeah.
You asked for it. And
Mm.
so I don't remember your question now because I went off on a tangent.
We were talking about just the two books and how wonderful they are. And I am excited that you were able to share books with us that helped you improve your life and
Oh,
grow your business. And now this segment could be the entire interview. Let's talk about some of the books you've written over the years and some of the books you're still promoting, and some of your books. Share with us the Suzy
so,
Prudden series.
so let me show you this book. This is the book that I sold to William Morrow in 1971. It's called Suzy Prudden's Creative Fitness for Baby and Child. That little boy right here is my 57-year-old son.
Oh, that's
So this was my
nice.
first book, and it's a beautiful book. I mean, I have, these children are just, that was my school,
Mm.
hanging upside down and doing somersaults and working on equipment and rolling over and going through tunnels. And I mean, here's a little baby doing an angel stretch. So
Mhm.
that was my first book. And it's so funny, I have to show you this. Where did I put that book? I was showing this to somebody else earlier. This was a great book that I wrote in 76, I think. My ex-husband and I wrote it. It's called Fit for Life. And it's not the one that the Diamonds wrote, which was about food. This is about exercise. Now, I have to tell you something, share something. I thought I was fat in that book.
Uh,
Yeah,
isn't it funny? Our perspective changes, Suzy.
I know. And then, so, I mean, I have these, this is my bestseller. And I have a story that goes with this book. This is my bestseller. And this is a beautiful book. And this was in bookstores for over 10 years, which is a long time to have a book in a bookstore. I mean, I got
Yeah.
royalty for this book for over 10 years. And it was published, and I have to tell you this, because for those of you who are watching and listening, if you're thinking about writing a book, the book is your first step.
Yeah.
It's what you do afterwards that makes the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So when my first book came out, William Morrow planned a 15-city tour for me. And my ex-husband didn't fly. We didn't go. And the book went this, and then it went this. And the next three books, Grosset and Dunlap, Simon and Schuster, Harcourt Brace, that's the one I showed you with my leg in the air. They planned tours for me, and he didn't fly, so we didn't go. When this book came out, this is published by Workman. When this book came out, they planned a tour for me, and I told my husband, I said, I'm going. You can come with me or not. I'm going. So he came with me. While we were on the road in Detroit, Detroit at that time was a fabulous media city. We were there for 2 days doing newspaper articles, television, radio for 2 days. At that time, I don't know, well, now everything's on the internet, but this was when, this was in the 70s. So we did actual physical flying to a new city every single day.
Mm-hmm.
While I was in Detroit, my editor called me from Workman and said, Suzy, you made the New York Times list. Talk about a heady experience. I mean, to say I'm a New York Times bestseller is over the top.
Yeah.
And so I did 4 books with Workman, and then I did the book with Hay House. And then this was my final fitness body mind book. This is called, and this is a funny story. This is called Change Your Mind, Change Your Body.
I like that one.
Now, and I think I'm going to re-release it. I was talking to somebody today who said, why don't you re-release it? So I may re-release it. And again, I thought it was fat. So the mind. What happened with this book was I did the Oprah show, and then I worked with Oprah for a while, and then Oprah's anniversary show for her weight loss, which I did not help her with. That was not me. We worked on something else. So on her show, when she's talking to her audience, the last thing she said was, if you want to make peace with your body, get Suzy Prudden's book, Change Your Mind, Change Your Body. What she meant was get Meta Fitness. I hadn't written Change Your Mind, Change Your Body. But I thought, well, wow, I have a testimonial from Oprah for Change Your Mind, Change Your Body.
I better write the book quick.
Exactly what happened.
When celebrities make mistakes, it could really work in your favor.
Yeah, and she was right, because it was a body-mind book. Meta Fitness was a body-mind book. It was all about how you use your mind to love and create the body you want. It's not about, my body is horrible, therefore, no, I love my body. Because, when you think about it, you only get one. It takes you through your entire life. I mean, it works really hard.
It does.
Every morning. I mean, how many of you literally have to get up when you get out of bed and go looking for your body? You're in it.
That is a good place for it to be.
Yeah, you're in it. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Until it goes. So
Yeah.
in the meantime, honor it. It's honoring you every single day.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. This has been so much fun, Suzy. I love spending this time with people like you in the world that are really shining so brightly, and more importantly, helping others to shine and achieve and do the things that they were meant to do, so that they can then touch other people's lives. I mean, it really is that ripple effect.
That's my mission now. Is to help people make
I see that. Yeah, I really see that. And I just want to take a moment again. Thank you, the audience who have followed me so long, who've been kind enough to share, and really probably had an impact on touching other people's lives, because you clicked that little share button and someone got to hear something they needed to hear today, learn something they needed to learn, find out something someone they knew needed. The ripples just keep going and going on. So I want to thank you for that. And I want to say to you, if you're an industry expert and you can help improve someone's purpose, their personal life, or you can really help improve someone's business, then you should be on our show too. Reach out to us. We'd love to feature you and put you on the show. And you can be someone's hero, because if you're an industry expert, you know someone else who's an industry expert, and you can tell them and share the show with them, and then we can have them on as well. So you get to be on the show featured and be a hero to someone else all at the same time. So, as always, before we say goodbye, I'm going to ask our beautiful guest today to share with us one final piece of information or inspiration before we say goodbye.
You're going to ask the okay.
Inspiration or information. Close us out with the final thought.
Okay. So those of you who are watching and listening, you do have a mission. By not putting it out there, you are doing a disservice to the people who need to know what it is. So put it out there. Say yes, figure it out, put it out there. The worst thing you can do. So let me rephrase that. You were given a gift. The universe, God gave you a gift. Share it. If you don't share it, you're not honoring the gift that you were given. You can share it by speaking. You can share it by writing a book. You can share it by calling up your best friend and saying, hey, how can I help you? But share it.
Yeah.
If I hadn't shared all those things in the 60s and 70s and 80s and even 90s, and even now, there's a lot of people who wouldn't have received my gifts. The woman that I had yesterday that I spent, that I had brunch with, whose son could be a personal assistant for me, she did a program with me in 1997. I took a group to Portugal, and we did a seminar on the Algarve for a week. And she said that work, this is what she told me yesterday, that week in Portugal with my guidance, with what we did, changed her life. And she came back to the US. It was a hard one for her. I remember we were laughing about it. We were in Portugal and she was so upset at one point she wanted to walk to Spain to get away. It was a long walk. And but she came back and ran for office in her town. And she said if she hadn't had that 1 week in Portugal with me and my group, she wouldn't have been able to do that. And she became part of the city council. She became the mayor of Manhattan Beach. She said it's all because of that 1 week in Portugal. She and I did programs. I mean, she did programs with me for about 10 years. And she became a very, very good friend. And we lost touch.
Mm-hmm.
And then she wrote to me and said, hey, why don't we catch up? And I said, hey, yes, why don't we? And then we did yesterday. It was fun.
I love friendships that last through the years, and years can pass and you pick up the phone and it was like you spoke yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I love relationships like that. That's real beauty in relationships. So your final thought is don't hide your gifts, share them with the world because someone out there really needs them. My husband often says to me, a life is well lived if you can help one other soul on this planet have an easier or happier life journey, then you've done something great. So like Suzy says, even if it's just one person that you share your gift with, you've made a difference, and that's fantastic. All right, everybody, this has been another Profound Professionals interview series. You know who I am. I am your host, Jessica Koch. And until next time, I will always close the show this way. I say it every time. I'm not going to miss today. Be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. And thank you.